Today we're gonna see what the 3 best categories to sell on Amazon for beginners are. If I had to start again from zero, I would focus on those categories, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna also tell you which category, in my opinion, there's one category that you need to stay away from if you are doing online arbitrage and if you are just beginning. If you're doing retail arbitrage, this category is fine, but with online arbitrage, it's a little bit different. I'm gonna talk about all that stuff. Before we get into it, we have a Discord server, best place to hang out with us, best place to ask any questions you may have about Amazon. And let's get started. So, the best category to start selling on Amazon if you're a beginner, in my opinion, is the beauty category. So you'll need to get engaged in topicals, but the beauty category is a super great category to start selling. Why? And it's the answer that I'm going to give you right now will apply to the 3 categories that I'm going to talk about today. But like, the reason why it is so easy to sell those products is that products from that category is that there's already websites that focus on the beauty category where you can go look at and like buy stuff. So Sephora.com, Ulta.com, a lot of beauty websites, websites that focus only on beauty. Not only that, not only websites that focus on the category, but like you can source brands' websites and stuff. And it's a super great category, and the price point is pretty low for 80% of the product. So if you make a mistake, you are not going to, lose a lot of money. You can find products in the small and light category as well. There's a lot of things to play with in the beauty category. It's a super great category. To this day, I think this is the category that I sell the most, actually, ever since I started doing online arbitrage. It was not when I was doing retail arbitrage, I need to be honest. But like, ever since I started doing online arbitrage, this is the category that, one of the categories that I really started with, and a category that I'm still selling a lot, today. I'm doing close to 40,000 now a month. And, last month I did close to 40,000, and most of that was, from the beauty category. A lot of that, probably more than 1/3, close to half of that was from the beauty category. Super great category, and this is one that if you are starting, really try to focus on that. Go on those websites that sells beauty products, look at the sales, try to see patterns, look at the brands, and then look on each of those brands' websites. All right. Second category that we're going to talk about, the health and how is it called exactly? The health and personal care category. So in that category, you will find the OTC medication category as well. It's a subcategory in that category. But just in general, this category is a super great category. Same thing as with beauty. The price point is going to be really cheap, and you're going to be able to get like great return on investment on a lot of those products that you're going to find. And getting OTC, if you, the health and beauty category, it goes like, it's not just OTC, but OTC is a big part of the health and beauty category. If you want to get engaged in that category, it's a little bit more tricky because you need the FBA registration for the product that you choose to engage. I have a whole video on that if you want to check it out. But the health and beauty category is, in my opinion, even to this day, it's a great category. I sell a lot of those products. Super great category. The OTC medication, super great category as well. Look into it, get engaged. The thing is that there's actually one wholesaler that focuses just on that category, but there's no website. Like, you could say CVS and Walgreens, they are pharmacies, so they are a great place to source those products. But yeah, if you want to source those products, look at my Walgreens video to source Walgreens. I think it's one of the best video on the channel and one of the best video on YouTube when it comes to online arbitrage, because it gives you the whole game plan for a whole website on how to source a whole website. So the health and I always forgot the name of that category. The health and personal care. Yeah, super great category. Get into it. The price point, same thing as with the beauty category. You can get a lot, and even more. You can get even more small and light products. So if you don't know what small and light is, it's a program by Amazon. You pay less fee if your products are under $12 and under certain dimension and stuff. I'll make a whole video on the small and light program. I was put into game from one member of the Discord on that, on the small and light programs, because I was not really doing it. So thank you to you, all head. But yeah, the health and personal care category is a super great category. You can make great money. The price points are pretty low. You can do a lot of small and light, and it's not as saturated as the beauty category. So the beauty category is not that it's saturated, but there's way more competition, right? So the chance that your product tanks, if you know, there's more of a chance that your product tanks if you source on big website, and if you just look at the regular sales and stuff, and if you do not dig really deep, there's a chance your product tanked. This chance is lower with the health, and you know, especially with the OTC category, because it's just so tricky to encode, right? So really look into it. This is a great, super great category for beginners. And let's move to the third category. The third category I'm going to talk about is the pet supplies category. Why? Just because people love their pets and they buy a lot of stuff when it comes to their pets, right? Same thing as the beauty categories. There's big websites that focus just on the pet category, on the pet supplies category. There's PetSmart, there's Petsco. Super great category. Whenever there's sales on those websites, check it out. Try to learn what's selling, like do some reverse sourcing, and this is what I'm going to do some reverse sourcing and try to see what's selling in that category. You're going to find a lot of stuff. We found some stuff when we had the live call. When was it? I think 2 weeks ago. I sourced live on the Discord, and I showed people how I was doing reverse sourcing, and we found a few products from that category. If you were there, you know what product I'm talking about. Those products are super good. And yeah, it's a great category just because, you know, whenever there's websites, there's whole website where you can actually buy the product, you know, just focused on a specific category. If you get to know those websites, the sales cycle and stuff, you will have an edge on the competition. If you have an edge on the competition, you're going to be able to make more money than, you know, you're going to be able to make money on the long term. So yeah, that's really the thing. Pet supplies is a great category for that reason. And whenever you find a category where there's websites focused specifically on that category, get to learn those websites. You know, whether it's for Ulta, whether it's for whether it's for beauty, whether it's for, doesn't matter the category, whether it's for pet supplies, but really get to know those categories. Lastly, before we end this video, I wanted to give you one category that I believe if you are doing online arbitrage, you should stay away from as a beginner. And I'm going to tell you why. Because that category, not only if you do online arbitrage, you're not going to find that many products for cheap, but you're going to deal with a lot of return. And it's one of the categories where you are going to deal with a lot of return. And if you do not take that into account, you know, if you just source like the other websites and you think that you can get away with sourcing 30% return on investment products, it's going to look like more like 25%, 20%, even lower if, you know, depending on which specific subcategory you try to sell. But the category I want you to stay away from if you are a beginner, if you are doing online arbitrage, is the clothing, shoes, and jewelry category. Why? Because the returns, as I said, are a little bit higher. And if you dive into some certain subcategories, such as swimwear has a lot of returns. The amount of returns you get with swimwear, I believe it's close to 20% on average for that industry, for swimwear. So, you know, a great return on investment can really turn into a subpar return on investment if you do not, like, when you take into account the returns, right? And the products that are going to be damaged, the products that are not going to be resellable, the products that Amazon is going to send back to you while they were actually sellable, and that you're going to pay a fee on that, you know. So yeah, not only that, but like if you do online arbitrage, the clothing, shoes, and it's not like retail arbitrage. Retail arbitrage, you can find stuff really, really cheap all the time in that category, and it gets super easy to actually learn that category. You know, if you go to Ross, if you go to TJ Maxx, if you go to Marshalls, if you go to those stores and you really learn the clothing category, the sports clothes category, and you get deep into it, it's super easy. If you do online arbitrage, most of the time the products are going to be a little bit more expensive, and like you're going to deal with returns and stuff. And yeah, you know, you're going to deal with more returns than the other categories that I talked about. And it's going to bring your return on investment down, and you're not going to understand why you do not make money. You know, it's a little bit more tricky. And also, if you make a mistake, those products are, when you do online arbitrage, they typically are a little bit more expensive, I should say, than, you know, than the product from the other categories, so such as beauty, such as OTC, you know. So yeah, if you're a beginner, just stay away for a little bit from the clothing, shoes, and jewelry category. That's just my opinion. Yeah, it's a little bit more tricky. Those other categories, you know, I'd rather you get to know the toys category than the clothing, shoes, and jewelry category, because it's really tricky. It's not really tricky, but like if you are a beginner, it's going to be a little bit tricky to, you know, you're going to make more money with the other categories. You know, it's not as easy to source clothing, shoes, and jewelry doing online arbitrage than it is with the other categories that I talked about. So yeah, guys, that's today's video. Join the Discord, check out these other videos that appears on the screen right now if you want to deepen your knowledge on online arbitrage. And I release a new video every single day at 3 p.m. So I'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. as well.